Okay, Elon Musk turned 30 in June 2001, and the birthday hit him hard. I'm no longer a child prodigy, he told Justine, only half joking. That same month, X.com officially changed its name to PayPal, providing a harsh reminder that the company had been ripped away from Musk and given to someone else to run. The startup life, which Musk described as akin to eating glass and staring into the abyss, had gotten old, and so had Silicon Valley. It felt like Musk was living inside a trade show where everyone worked in the technology industry and talked all the time about funding IPOs and chasing big paydays. People liked to brag about the crazy hours they worked, and Justine would just laugh knowing Musk had lived a more extreme version of the Silicon Valley lifestyle than they could imagine. I had friends who complained that their husbands came home to 7 or 8, she said. At rather, 7 or 8. Elon would come home at 11 and work some more. People didn't always get the sacrifice he made in order to be where he was. Oops. The idea of escaping this incredibly lucrative rat race started to grow more and more appealing. Musk's entire life had been stepping stone, had been about chasing a bigger stage, and Palo Alto seemed more like a stepping stone than a final destination. The couple decided to move south and begin their family and the next chapter of their lives in Los Angeles. There's an element to him that likes the style and the excitement and color of a place like LA, said Justine. Elon likes to be where the action is. A small group of Musk friends who felt similarly had also decamped to Los Angeles for what would be a wild couple of years. It wasn't just Los Angeles' glitz and grandeur that attracted Musk, it was also the call of space. After being pushed out of PayPal, Musk had started to revisit his childhood fantasies around rocket ships and space travel, and to think that he might have a greater calling than creating internet services. The changes in his attitude and thinking soon became obvious to his friends, including a group of PayPal executives who had gathered in Las Vegas one weekend to celebrate the company's success. We're all hanging out in this cabana at the Hard Rock Cafe, and Elon is there reading some obscure Soviet rocket manual that was all moldy and looked like it had been bought on eBay, said Kevin Hartz, an early PayPal investor. He was studying it and talking openly about space travel and changing the world. Musk had picked Los Angeles with intent. It gave him access to space, or at least the space industry. Southern California's mild, consistent weather had made it a favorite city of the aeronautics industry since the 1920s, when the Lockheed Aircraft Company set up shop in Hollywood. Howard Hughes, the U.S. Air Force, NASA, Boeing, and myriad other people and organizations have performed much of their manufacturing and cutting-edge experimentation in and around Los Angeles. Today, the city remains a major hub for the military's aeronautics work and commercial activity. While Musk didn't know exactly what he wanted to do in space, he realized that just by being in Los Angeles, he would be surrounded by the world's top aeronautics thinkers. They could help him to refine any ideas, and there would be plenty of recruits to join in his next venture. Musk's first interactions with the aeronautics community were with an eclectic collection of space enthusiasts, members of a nonprofit group called the Mars Society, dedicated to exploring and settling the red planet. The Mars Society planned to hold a fundraiser in mid-2001. The $500 per plate event was to take place at the house of one of the well-off Mars Society members, and invitations to the usual characters had been mailed out. What stunned Robert Zubrin, the head of the group, was the reply from someone named Elon Musk, whom no one could remember inviting. He gave us a check for $5,000, Zubrin said. That made everyone take notice. Zubrin began researching. Musk determined he was rich and invited him for coffee ahead of the dinner. I wanted to make sure he knew the projects we had underway, Zubrin said. He proceeded to regale Musk, with tales of the research center of the Society had built in the Arctic to mimic the tough conditions of Mars and the experiments they had been running for something called the Trans-Life mission, in which there would be a spinning capsule orbiting Earth that was piloted by a crew of mice. It would spin to give them 1/3 gravity, the same you would have on Mars, and they would live there and reproduce, Zubrin told Musk. When it was time for dinner, Zubrin placed Musk at the VIP table next to himself, the director and space buff James Cameron, and Carol Stoker, a planetary scientist for NASA with a deep interest in Mars. Elon is so youthful looking, and at that time, he looked like a little boy, Stoker said. Cameron was chatting him up right away to invest in his next movie, and Zubrin was trying to get him to make a big donation to the Mars Society. In return for being hounded for cash, Musk probed about for ideas and contacts. Stoker's husband was an aerospace engineer at NASA working on a concept for an airplane that would glide over Mars looking for water. Musk loved that. He was much more intense than some of the other millionaires, Zubrin said. He didn't know a lot about space, but he had a scientific mind. He wanted to know exactly what was being planned in regards to Mars and what the significance would be. Musk took to the Mars Society right away and joined its board of directors. He donated another $100,000 to fund a research station in the desert as well. Musk's friends were not entirely sure what to make of his mental state. He lost a tremendous amount of weight fighting off malaria and looked almost skeletal. With little prompting, Musk would start expounding on his desire to do something meaningful with his life, something lasting. His next move to be either in solar or in space had to be in either in solar. His next move had to be in either in solar or in space. He said the logical thing to happen next is solar, but I can't figure out how to make any money out of it, said George Zachary, the investor and close friend of Musk, recalling a lunch date at the time. Then he started talking about space, and I thought he meant office space like a real estate play. Musk had actually started thinking bigger than the Mars Society. Rather than send a few mice into Earth's orbit, Musk wanted to send them to Mars. Some very rough calculations done at the time suggested that the journey would cost $15 million. He asked if I thought that was crazy, Zachary said. I asked, do the mice come back? Because if they don't, yeah, most people will think that's crazy. As it turned out, the mice were not only meant to go to Mars and come back, but were also meant to procreate along the way during a journey that would take months. Jeff Skull, another one of Musk's friends who made a fortune at eBay, pointed out that the fornicating mice would need a hell of a lot of cheese and bought Musk a giant wheel of La Brea, a type of Gruyere. Musk did not mind becoming the butt of cheese jokes. The more he thought about space, the more important exploration seemed to him. He felt as if the public had lost some of its ambition and hope for the future. The average person might see space exploration as a waste of time and effort and rib him for talking about the subject. But Musk thought about interplanetary travel in a very earnest way. He wanted to inspire the masses and reinvigorate their passion for science, conquest, and the promise of technology. His fears that mankind had lost much of its will to push the boundaries lost my voice there for a minute. Boundaries were reinforced one day when Musk went to the NASA website. He'd expected to find a detailed plan for exploring Mars and instead found bupkis. At first, I thought, geez, maybe I'm just looking in the wrong place. Musk once told Wired, why was there no plan, no schedule? There was nothing. It seemed crazy. Musk believed that the very idea of America was intertwined with humanity's desire to explore. He found it sad that the American agency tasked with doing audacious things in space and exploring new frontiers as its mission seemed to have no serious interest at investigating Mars at all. The spirit of manifest destiny had been deflated or maybe even come to a depressing end, and hardly anyone seemed to care. Like so many quests to revitalize America's soul and bring hope to all of mankind, Musk's journey began in a hotel conference room. By this time, Musk had built up a decent network of contacts in the space industry, and he brought the best of them together at a series of salons, sometimes at the Renaissance Hotel at the Los Angeles airport, and sometimes at the Sheraton Hotel in Palo Alto. Musk had no formal business plan for these people to debate.